conmeds, concomitant medication. So concomitant medications, or conmeds, as I call them, are drugs or biologics other than a study drug taken by a subject during a trial. So it could be vitamin A, vitamin C. It could be maybe the subject injects themselves with stem cells. Okay, maybe that would be a biologic. Maybe they infuse themselves with IVs from time to time. That's a conmed. Anything that the patient is taking from the moment they sign the consent form onwards. And as you heard from the module last week with Monica, sometimes you even capture conmeds several weeks or even months, depending on the protocol, prior to screening. So for those protocols, you got to capture the conmeds even pre-screening. But for the most part, it's screening and onwards you capture the conmeds. So the variable, again, is the protocol. And you need to look at the protocol and see what your particular study is requiring you to collect. The protocol normally states at what time point the medication should be documented on the conmed list. Or if the drug is prohibited, it must be discontinued. This is very important. Okay, this is important for the sites to document properly and for the CRAs to check properly, because sites get busy. Some of these protocols are complex. Some of these patients are taking a lot of conmeds. And if the site is documenting properly, but maybe they did not realize that one of the conmeds is prohibited, right? Hopefully, this is why it's important to document everything. Hopefully the CRA can catch it and not allow that subject to be randomized because they're taking a prohibited med. Right? It could be a potential safety issue, a big safety issue. This is why documentation is important. This is probably one of the clearest examples of why we even have these modules and have to go over these documentation principles with you. All right, very important. Concomitant medication log. Okay, so logs, just like you've seen the other logs, you have a log for conmeds, and these logs are usually kept with the subject source. So each subject will have their own conmed log. Okay, this is usually collected at screening, but it's kept throughout the study because patients can come on and off of conmeds throughout the study. Okay, they have start and end dates, and then they have reasons for why they're taking it. We're going to get into in detail everything that goes on these logs right now. So obviously the medication name, okay, corresponds to the actual med number. So this could corresponds to the sequence of occurrence during the trial. So this could be like what number conmed they're on. Okay, usually you don't see conmed number. It just starts with the name. But in a log, since everything is numbered, you're supposed to put them in order of when they started it. So if somebody started a medication December 2nd, and then they took another one on December 3rd of a different medication on December 3rd, ConMed 1 would be the one on December 2nd, ConMed 2 would be the one on December 3rd in the log itself. Then you go with the medication name. So you don't put the brand names, you put the generic names. Okay, for example, Advair, if they're taking Advair, you want to put fluticasone propionate. Okay, again, some sponsors will want the actual brand name, but most that I've seen and that we've seen prefer the generic name. And they will tell you on the log, use generic name, okay, for the drug. Dose, so you just put the amount of the dose. Unit, how it's measured. Frequency, how often, okay. Here's some frequencies for you. QD, once daily. BID, twice daily. TID, 3 times daily. QID, 4 times daily. QOD, every other day. QW, once a week. QAM, in the morning. QHS, once at night. PRN, as needed. It's very important. You're going to see these all the time in our world. Go back and listen to this part again if you don't have the slides. to get the acronyms down. Okay, very important to get used to this like a different language. The route that the CONMED is taken, is it oral? Is it intramuscular? Is it respiratory? Is it topical? Is it subcutaneous? Is it transdermal? Is it intraocular? Is it intraperitoneal? So is it nasal, vaginal, rectal? These are just some examples. Okay, these are some examples. So this is the route that the CONMED is administered. Okay, that also is captured on the CONMED log. And the next slide is going to actually show you an example of a CONMED log, a blank one. So also you put start dates, stop dates, ongoing if they're still taking it during study completion, indication, is it for an AE? Is it for an SAE? If so, which one? Or is it for a part of medical history? No matter what they're taking, there needs to be an indication associated with it. These are captured on the CONMED log. These are also captured in the EDC, the electronic data capture system. And this is a great place to use the progress notes to explain if a patient is now taking a new medication, the reason. It's a great place to put on the progress notes, because if it was triggered by an AE or an SAE, that's going to require further documentation and more forms to be filled out. If it's part of a medical history, then that needs to be explained. Was it an exacerbation of the medical history or not? Because that could be an AE as well. So PI signs this log when the patient completes the study.